Welcome to College Football Live. I am Peter Burns. Desmond Howard, is that a brand new shirt you're wearing today?
Hey, man, only the best for you, Peter, brother. Only the best for you, my man.
Pollock, David Pollock, how old is your shirt?
It's actually new, too, as well. I mean, so I know that's kind of a mini miracle. Des, it's a mini miracle, but it is new, baby. So let's get weird.
Appreciate it.
How about let's get weird for the Big 12, right? This is what our ESPN stat gurus have come up with the percentage chance that these teams make the college football playoff. 30% for the Sooners, 2% for the Longhorns, and only 1% for the Fighting Will Greers in West Virginia. Pollock, are you buying that? 2% for the Longhorns? Can they actually be a contender here?
I tell you what, I would put them on the list of, those 10 to 12 teams that are in the contention for the college football playoffs. I mean, I think you have to put them at that point. Now, there's a lot of mind traps along the way, including Iowa State, who I think is playing really, really good football. Down the stretch, obviously, they would have to beat Oklahoma again. So I think there's a lot of tough games for Texas. But if they ran the table, obviously, they'd be in the mix. But Des, that injury to Ehlinger really worries me, and I think it changes this Texas team. And I think, honestly, it takes them from being one of those teams that you might believe in it a little bit more to taking them out of the equation.
Yeah, David, that's a real big concern for me, the injury to Ehlinger, and it's his shoulder, which is a double whammy because normally you worried about a quarterback's throwing shoulder because of his throwing motion, but because Ehlinger is such a running quarterback, now you have to worry about him taking a pounding on that shoulder when he's not throwing the ball. So 2%, I don't think that I've seen the best of Texas outside of that Oklahoma game. So now I don't know how consistently they can play the way they played against the Sooners. So I would probably say that's probably pretty accurate, 2%.
All right, so is that what you're saying, that this week against Oklahoma State, that's maybe an upset brewing? They already got one win against the Oklahoma team. Can they get two, Desmond?
I tell you what, like I said, the injury to the quarterback, Ehlinger, his shoulder, it really concerns me. We've seen this defense play great at times, but don't forget, we saw Oklahoma put over 40 points on this defense, too. So I don't know which defense is going to show up. So I would think that they need to be on upset alert. And this can make the Cowboys season because, like you said, Oklahoma State, they've struggled so far this season.
Yeah, this is one of those games where the Oklahoma State's not very good, obviously, compared to their standards of what they've been, and the firepower isn't there. They host a Texas team with Ehlinger beat up a little bit. It's a good spot for Oklahoma State. I really think it is, because not only is it Ehlinger's shoulder, it's his throwing shoulder. So I think one of the biggest things he's improved on, you can tell, is throwing the football. Now you're dinged. How does that feel? When you run the ball as physically as he does. He's not a finesse runner. This isn't a guy that's pulling the ball and making people miss. This is a guy that's pulling the ball and running people over. One ding to that shoulder, now you can't throw as well. So I think this week you better watch out, Longhorns, because Oklahoma State at home with low expectations, it could be a bad spot.
How about this, too, guys? Oklahoma State has won 6 out of the last 8 in that matchup, and including the last 3. Let's talk about another team in Oklahoma. That is the Sooners. Hey, they had a bye week. Ruffin McNeil now is the head of that defense. Pollock, are you buying that this new and improved defense is legit?
Well, no, they're not a legit defense. Hold on, Pete. Let me pump the brakes, Ninja. I mean,
it was 275 yards against TCU. That's an okay TCU squad.
No. You said the way you just phrased that they're going to be like a really good defense. To me, can they improve? Can they get a little bit better, Des? And I think they can. I like what I saw from an effort standpoint. I think they can simplify things, and I think that they will be better throughout the season. Listen, they gave up big plays. Also had a backup quarterback in the game come in and give up some big plays when TCU switched quarterbacks. But I think this defense will improve. I don't think this defense is going to be elite, but all it has to be, Des, is serviceable, because you got that offense on the other side that can get it anytime they want.
Yeah, Kyler Murray and that group, boy, they're exciting to watch. I think that the defense is getting better. They got better from the first half to the second half last week against TCU. Only held them to 3 points in the second half. So I think it's going to take some time. They're used to Ruffin McNeil, but I think he's going to simplify the defense. And now they're kind of, getting used to his voice, his expectations, and what adjustments that he wants them to make on the field. So I think that there's a lot of room for growth and improvement, and I think they're going to get better as the season grows older. But they ain't got a lot of time, because this season is about to come to a close in about 3 or 4 weeks.
Des, I talked to people inside that building there in Oklahoma, and they said that the effort level is night and day difference with McNeil running that defense. It might have been with Stoops, and hence the change. All right, so let's take a look at the standings. And listen, a lot of people are already saying, guys, we're going to see Texas-Oklahoma Part 2 of that, Red River showdown. And so with that being said, what team, Pollock, do you look at that could kind of change everything here in the Big 12?
Des, starting from the bottom, now I'm going. Nope, starting from the bottom, now I'm going. I'm going Iowa State, man. I tell you what, the Cyclones, listen, they lost early to Iowa. Obviously, the offense really, really struggled. David Montgomery got banged up. Brock Purdy comes in as the quarterback, and all of a sudden, this freshman starts lighting the world on fire. Throw the ball to Hakeem Butler on the outside that's 6'6". Don't be surprised if Iowa State runs the table and has a chance at the end to be in the Big 12 championship game, because I think their defense plays physical, plays fast. I think they're a team that you look at them right now, they're at the bottom, but you don't look long because they won't be there.
Yeah, I tell you what, you look at Brock Purdy and what he did, coming in as a third-string quarterback, low expectations of any expectations at all. He just threw caution to the wind, and he went out there and balled out. And now you have his teammates who they have so much confidence in this young man. I mean, I love the way this team is trending right now. Matt Campbell is a fantastic coach. I used to call his games when he was coaching Toledo in the MAC, and he's getting these guys ready for this final stretch of the season. I think the Cyclones are going to upset some people in the weeks to come.
I can't wait for that, and I'm just impressed that you knew that it was Drake's birthday today, Pollock. Very well done, sir. Way to be topical. All right, let's go ahead and take a look as we go forward. It's been kind of crazy, right? Top 5 teams losing in October. First, it was LSU. Then they got the revenge against second-ranked Georgia, and then, of course, Purdue just stomped the Buckeyes 49-20. So, gentlemen, which top 5 team loses this weekend? Because it's going to happen, right, Des? Like, one of these teams has to go down.
Wow. Well, I don't think a top 5 team is going to go down this weekend. I just don't. I don't see it. I would love to play into that and say, yeah, this team will. But I don't think there's a top 5 team will lose this weekend. I think Clemson's going to be okay up in Tallahassee. I think they're going to be okay. I mean, you may differ. You differ.
Well, keep in mind, ain't nobody playing this week, Peter. This is a loaded question. Alabama's sitting.
Hold up.
LSU's sitting. What? They got 3 of the top 5 teams are on buys. BYE has never won a game.
Hold up, Pollock. You're not buying Florida State, who's had a little bit of success in the last couple of weeks. It seems like they've at least righted the ship in Tallahassee. And now this is going to be Trevor Lawrence's first real start on the road against, hey, listen, you know how those fans are. You telling me you're not worried at that in the least bit?
Not in the slightest bit.
No.
Not even.
No, sir.
Not even that much. Not even that much. I mean, no. I'm still
afraid not.
Yes, I agree. Florida State has had more success and they look better. Do you think, Pete, that offensive line has a chance to block Clemson's defensive line?
I didn't think A&M's. I didn't think A&M's offensive line was going to be able to block Clemson's defensive line. And guess what? That was a one-score game on the road.
Willie Taggart thinks they will, though. Willie Taggart thinks they will. So he said they go against the best defensive line in the country every day. So we'll see.
Des, I'm glad you brought that up, because we're going to be talking about that a little bit later in the show, about that proclamation that Willie Taggart made. We got a lot more coming up, including, hey, I don't know if you won the lottery, but if you didn't, we got the best values in all of college football, including a 7th-year senior. Yeah, that's happening. But, hey, you ready for this? Saturday on ABC. Big 12 battle between number 6 Texas and Oklahoma State in Stillwater. 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Welcome back to College Football Live. Let's go inside the numbers lottery style for this season, right? Number of games, Alabama scored 50. That's 6. Another winning number, that was 35. That's a chance, percentage-wise, that SEC sends 2 teams to the college football playoff. I mean, just like last year, 88. That's one of the numbers. Percentage chance that Clemson will reach the college football playoff. Pollock, I know you were probably too cheap to buy lottery tickets. I bought them. I didn't win. Des, you got a new shirt. Are you trying to tell us something? Did you win? No? Okay. I was just hoping that was going to be the case. Maybe you hit 1 or 2 numbers. All right, let's talk about the best values in all of college football. And Des, let's start with you. When you're looking at coaches throughout all of college football, what's the best value right now?
I think you got to go to App State's head coach, Scott Satterfield. Now, you look at him, he's actually paid less than $1 million a season. Now, his base salary is about $400,000, but he's received some bonuses. But I like his style of play, his style of coach, the way these guys go out there and compete week in and week out. They almost upset Penn State early in the season. David, I think it's Scott Satterfield.
Nothing like putting people's money on the screen. I love when we do this stuff. But Neil Brown, give me Neil Brown from Troy. He's been a hot name the last couple years. Yeah, I like the way they compete. I like the way they play. Beat LSU 2 years ago. Beat Nebraska this year. So have made some big wins against big time programs. Hey, and if anybody's curious, he's only making $810,000.
All right, put that number up there, right? Hey, how about Charlie Strong, right? I'm going to say he's a value because they're 7-0. And by the way, the Texas Longhorns are paying for the majority of his salary, only $1 million a year. They're getting good value. All right, let's spin it forward and let's talk about not only that guy with Charlie Strong, but how about quarterback play, right? Throughout all quarterbacks in college football, Pollack, what's the best value in all of college football?
Dude, give me some Mason Fine. And most of you don't even know who that is. He's the quarterback of North Texas. He's a small guy. If he was a couple inches taller, he'd be at a big-time university, and he'd be one of those guys like Baker Mayfield, putting up huge plays, can run, can throw, has had clutch moments in his career, and just one of those guys, when you watch him, dude, he's got star written all over him, and people don't talk about him enough. The only reason we ever bring up North Texas, Des, is because they ran a great fake punt. That's the only reason anybody thinks about North Texas.
That's a good call right there. That's a good call. How about the quarterback we spoke about previously, Brock Purdy? I mean, you're talking about a guy just taking advantage of his opportunity. He was supposed to come in the game, man, just for one series. About 4 touchdown passes later in the big W. He has not sat on the bench ever since. I mean, Brock Purdy is a guy, I think, who has just infused a lot of confidence, a lot of energy, a lot of life into the Cyclones offense. I really do like Brock Purdy.
All right, guys, we've been talking about Hawaiian quarterbacks, right? And Tua Tagovailoa and Mackenzie Milton. How about Cole McDonald, huh? Let's give a little love for the guy that actually plays for Hawaii. 29 touchdowns this year, only 3 interceptions. He reminds me of
Crazy.
Timmy Chang. Remember that name back in the day?
Yeah.
Yeah, blast from the
exactly.
pass.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to get some bonus points, so maybe they send me to Hawaii to go ahead and cover him. All right,
Nope.
When we start going forward and looking at the best running back value in college football, Des, who you rolling with?
I like Cincinnati Bearcats Michael Warren II. Now, this young man right here, David, you'll love him. I mean, he's a strong runner in between the tackles. He averages 5.3 yards per carry, has 12 rushing touchdowns on the season. And he was the main reason they were undefeated. Just built low to the ground, runs hard, excellent lateral cutting ability, has a little bit of speed. He can get away, get out there in the open. So I like Michael Warren II from Cincinnati, his value.
No doubt. They're riding him, and he can run you over or run around you. I got a guy that if I to ask somebody to name the #1 drafted running back next year in the NFL, nobody would be able to do this. It's this guy, David Montgomery from Iowa State, our second mention for Iowa State. This guy is built low to the ground, under 6 feet tall, 215 pounds, can catch, can make you miss, has got power. His dude has got big play written all over it. He doesn't have the best blocking in the world, but that dude right there is a star at the next level and is a star now as Iowa State's going to come down the home stretch and ride Mr. Montgomery.
Welcome to the Iowa State Network here on ESPN. A lot of mentions today. How about, hey guys, I'm going to keep saying it every time I'm on here. Darrell Henderson. I know he got banged up in the game against Missouri, but 10 yards a carry. And before him getting nicked up in that game against Drew Lock in Missouri, this guy deserved an invite to the Downtown Athletic Club with what he's doing. One touch, and he can go all the way to the house. I like that. All right, now we start talking about the other side of the ball. Best value defensive player. Pollack, where you rolling?
I'll tell you what, there's a lot of guys across college football you can name here, but Ja'Kai, if you look at Ja'Kai, am I saying his name right?
Yeah, Ja'Kai Polite, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, Ja'Kai Polite, whatever you want to say, from Florida. 7 sacks this season. I tell you what, Florida does it every single year. Who's the guy that's going to be the next guy to step up and make big plays? Super fast. They didn't even know he was going to be a defensive end, and now you watch 99 rush the passer. He's not a huge cat, but he's got that quickness coming off the edge. You get in passing situations against Florida with their secondary, and Ja'Kai, whoa, that's trouble.
I can't wait to see him this weekend when we're up in Jacksonville playing up against Georgia. But how about LSU got a defensive back named Grant Delpit, who leads the nation in interceptions, 5 interceptions. And, Dave, you know they're going to test this young man because opposite of Delpit is one of the best corners in the game, and Greedy Williams. So he's going to get guys throwing the ball at him. He's going to get tested. But so far, so good. He's answered the call. He's passed those tests. I like Grant Delpit. He's been able to step up to the challenge and hit a home run.
All right, you guys are talking best value. To heck with the SEC, they always get the value, right? I'm going UMass. That's right. Brighton Barr. How about this young man, huh? Over 100 tackles so far this season. He's not a fifth-year senior, guys. He's not a sixth-year senior. He's a seventh-year senior. 7 seasons right now. He's 48 years old playing for UMass, okay? You got to give the guy a little credit.
Peter, did you just go LeBron on me? Not 5, not 6.
5, not
7.
6. We're talking 7 years right now, okay? Hey, he's getting it done.
Yeah.
A little shout-out to Brighton Barr and what he's doing at UMass. All right, hey, Des, you just talked about it. You're excited about that Florida-Georgia game. Coming up, we'll go too high or too low. Oddsmakers think something's going down in the SEC East showdown, or SEC. ExxonMobil's unexpected energy has us looking at Jacksonville, Florida. SEC East takes center stage. Number 9th ranked Florida takes on 7th ranked Georgia Saturday, 3:30 Eastern. First time since 2008 that both of these teams enter the game ranked in the top 10. In 4 of the previous 5 meetings, the higher ranked team came away with the victory. So let's time for a little to go to a little too high or too low, gentlemen. Vegas says Georgia is a 6.5-point favorite. Too high or too low, Mr. Bulldog David Pollack?
I'd say too high. You know, I've been impressed with what I've seen. I've been impressed for what I've seen from Florida. And if you watch the LSU game with Georgia, I think you had some concerns about their run defense, and I think you had some concerns about their offense. Probably Jake Fromm's worst game you've seen him play. So I think Georgia will bounce back. I think they'll perform well, but I think this is going to be a fourth-quarter game that could go either way.
You know what, David? I think it's going to be a hard-fought game for the first 2.5 quarters. But I do think Georgia's they got too much on offense. I think that number is too low. I think Georgia's going to cover that.
I got a distinct chance we'll see a lot of Justin Fields in that game as well, too. How about Missouri, 7-point favorite over Kentucky, the fighting Benny Snells and Josh Allen? Des, is that too high or too low?
Peter, way, way, way too high, man. Hey, don't sleep on the fighting Benny Snell Juniors and the Wildcats. I still have a lot of faith in Kentucky. Kentucky might just outright win this game. So I think that number is way too high, David.
So you said way too high. Snell, yeah, it's too high. Are you kidding me? What? Get out of here, man. I don't get this, Des. And usually when this stuff happens, Vegas knows more than we know. I don't know what they do. I don't know who they pay. I don't know how they get it, but they get it. I was surprised to see the number. I won't disagree. Kentucky hasn't been firing on all cylinders, but I'll take the 7 points.
How about this game? Penn State, 3-point favorite over the Iowa Hawkeyes. Pollack, too high or too low?
So Penn State's a 3-point favorite?
That is correct. That is what I said. You're not listening to me? Come on, you're killing me.
Well, the screen says 6.5. So to be clear, I'm trying to
favorite. My bad. See, I was the one who was wrong.
Okay, there we go again. Anyways, 6.5. Iowa's playing good. I would take Penn State just because I trust their offense a little bit more than Iowa.
Yeah, I tell you what, I like Iowa's defense. I think that number is a little high. I like Iowa's defense a lot. Penn State, they struggle a little bit on offense too, so I think that number might be a little too high.
What number, Des? He'll give you 3. He can give you 3 numbers
if you want.
Just 10s, 9, 6. You're good.
It may have started out at 3 and then moved to 6.5. You know, it does that sometimes.
It does. It does do that sometimes. All right, how about this? Are you ready to hear this? Hashtag SMH, shaking my head at. We talked about this earlier, Des, okay? Willie Taggart said he's not worried with Clemson's defensive line. You buying that?
Hell to the no, not at all. No, sir. And Clemson's defensive line starting to come into their own, playing like we thought they would play. He's going to have some issues. I bet you DeAndre Francois ain't saying that.
No, not as much as he's been pinged. If he's not worried about the Clemson's defensive line, then he's probably going to be a little bit worried about Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne, and I can keep going down the list. There's plenty to be worried about, Willie. I know it's going to be a tough day at the office.
How about this? It's going to be a tough day for Florida linebackers who said they're going to truck
Watch this.
Elijah Holyfield.
Get on
Who
my
gets
hood.
trucked, Pollock? Who gets trucked?
Come get some.
Or Elijah Holyfield in that game?
Well, I mean, listen, they're both going to get theirs, but I wouldn't talk to Holyfield like that. That dude's got muscles in his ears, for God's sakes. He is one ball of muscle. So I would like to see somebody truck him because I ain't seen it happen yet.
All right. I'm going this way and saved it for you, Desmond. Michigan declaring themselves state champs. You liking the swagger from Harbaugh now?
Oh,
Get
man.
that out of here.
You know
Get
what?
that out of here.
I'll tell you what, a huge win a week ago, type of win that galvanizes the team. I don't think that they need to make that type of comment, though. So I'll probably stay away from that state champs. I would think they have bigger and greater aspirations than being the state champs.
Reese sometimes does this on game day. He decodes what Des just said. We're way above them. We don't need to say that. That's what Des just said. We don't need to placate to Michigan State. We're Michigan.
Listen. When you're wearing a nice, fancy shirt like Desmond Howard, you just let it speak for itself, right? Thanks for watching College Football Live.